What can our regional stakeholders do to support you in what you're doing right now?
The biggest thing is, as when we come out of crisis, a lot of times, what we do will be just as important or more important on the back end. So continue to be there for us to make sure we've got the resources to make sure we bounce back quickly.
Anyone else on that question?
A lot of what our regional stakeholders can do is just help us monitor the impact and help us understand it. So there's a lot of surveys going around. We've probably all sent one from our offices. But if we can just kind of help monitor and help monetize the impact of what this is doing, it'll help us make adjustments and help us redirect that information to our legislators so we can get the support that we need for the recovery efforts.
And the data is constantly changing. So, I mean,
Exactly.
just because you take a survey one week doesn't mean if you get a different survey the next week, you don't need to take it. So the currency of our data is extremely important right now. That's a great point. Steve, I know you had something there as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I came at it a little bit differently. And I do think that both of the comments from both my partners are absolutely fitting. What occurred to me, though, is that all of the stakeholders at the CRDA are basically a microcosm of industry, local business, higher ed, utilities, and then the local governments. And when you think about this COVID crisis and the aftermath of it, every one of those institutions and entities gets hurt. And it's a matter of how bad. And it's, there's just a lot of shoes yet to drop, so to speak. I hate to sound glum, but there's a lot of damage that's going to, and a lot of fallout from this, be it on the revenue side, be it, I think we've heard about the stories about what MUSC is going through, with lost revenue and the need for furloughs and that type of thing. So nobody comes out of this thing unscathed. And I really would flip that question around to say, what can the different county offices be doing for the stakeholders? So I came at it a little bit differently, but anything we can do, in the way of any of these COVID resources and leading anyone to them that's not familiar, we are definitely here for you.
Well, that's a great segue, Steve, and I'm going to jump right to it. If there was one resource that you guys have at your disposal that you want our stakeholders or anybody else who sees this to know about, what would that be?
There are numerous organizations around the state and in our community that all have different pieces of the puzzle. What I would shout out would be my own department's business concierge program, because I think they've established a real good track record as a dependable go-to. And that's whether you're looking for, business information and data, whether you've got infrastructure on your mind, incentives and taxation matters, and supplier matchmaking, workforce training. I mean, we don't necessarily do all that, but we know the people that do. And so we can act as a, one-stop shop to activate all kinds of great things that will solve company problems. The other thing I'd say, we're also known as ESF 24, and that's emergency talk, emergency lingo for emergency service function, number 24, business and industry, for the Charleston County Emergency Management Department. So we're activated even as we speak and wearing that hat that we wear during disasters. Normally these disasters are hurricanes or hurricane scares that we're also used to in the summer and fall months. This one is real different. This is like nothing that obviously any of us has ever been through, and hopefully never will again. But, we're in that mode as ESF 24 now. We're having our phone call just like we would in a hurricane scenario, and we are, troubleshooting nonstop with different Charleston businesses, and including some work that we did with Department of Commerce to try to identify manufacturers that could participate in the manufacture of ventilators, surgical masks, gowns, hand sanitizer, and other vital products such as that. And I'm going to tell you that part has been fascinating. I know y'all been reading some of the articles, and these companies exist in all three of our counties, but it's been magnificent to watch companies come up and grab the challenge and get out of their safe zone and make these things, reminiscent of the World War II effort years ago. So I've been inspired by watching that.
John, Kristen, anything from you guys on that question?
Don, go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of back up what Steve said. I mean, I think that our biggest value is to be a convener. So even if we don't have the answers, hopefully we can reach out to our networks and find somebody that can help them.
And I'll echo much of the same. We have instituted a few new practices. We've always done the industry calls where we convene and we send out an invitation to all 200 industries that we have to call in, and we give an update from our local EMC, and we give an update from the state. But as a mechanism of those calls, the biggest value that came from them was that industries started talking to one another at the end during the questions. They would ask questions and other industries would chime in. So we really wanted to harness that. And we've launched a new system called Berkeley Industry Interconnect, and it's an online private blog chat form, if you will. And we've preloaded all of our industry contacts, and it really kind of helps cut through the noise. We put just pertinent information out there because there is so much information. We really want to keep it nice and clean. But once again, it's helped to connect our industries. And so we're all going through this together. We've never done this before. And so we can all learn best practices from one another. So it's been able to allow our industries to share a resource and other people to pick it up and to make comments or ask questions. So we're pretty proud of that. And it's just another extension of connecting what we call our Berkeley industry family.